Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Azam Khan. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Sources say police found the head of slain Hong Kong model's dismembered body. Rules to be tightened for Hong Kong talent visa schemes after biophysicist saga. And starting tomorrow, mask wearing no longer required in outdoor areas in Macau. According to sources, police have discovered the head of model Abby Choi, whose body was dismembered in a village house in Tai Po earlier. This comes after searching different sites, including a cemetery in Chung Kwan O, for the second straight day. Joanna Ho reports.
After days of investigation, sources said police have finally found the head of model Abby Choi, whose corpse was dismembered with some parts of her body still missing. According to understanding, forensic samples taken from one of the soup pots from the village house in Long Mei Chun contained remains of her skull in tissue form. The soup pot was first discovered in the same village house where some other body parts were also found earlier. The house has remained sealed off as of today. Officers from the Drainage Services Department arrived at the scene this afternoon to inspect the house and the surrounding areas. They checked if the sewerage system was blocked by any body parts and took samples to check for human tissue, according to sources. Earlier, police continued their search effort at Chung Kwan O Chinese Permanent Cemetery for the second consecutive day. The site is believed to be one of the disposal sites for the 28-year-old's other body parts after her former husband Alex Kwong, who is the key suspect in the case, was previously seen there. Officers deployed drones and abseiled down the hillside to inspect suspicious spots, including rubbish bags. Divers had combed through 3 pools inside the cemetery yesterday, but have not discovered anything so far. Sources believe that Choi was killed in a car before her body was dismembered and disposed. Police have arrested Kwong's parents and his elder brother earlier, while Kwong was caught at a Tongchong Pier on Lantau yesterday as he tried to flee. He has been detained for questioning. Kwong's father and brother have been charged with murder and his mother with 1 count for perverting the course of justice. They will appear before the court at the Kowloon City Magistracy tomorrow. The force has pledged to continue its search in other places for Choi's other missing body parts. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
Macau will drop the outdoor mask mandate starting tomorrow. However, masks will be mandatory in hospitals and public transport, but taxis are excluded. As for other indoor venues, the mandate will be decided by the relevant supervisors of the venues. Children aged below 3 years will not need a mask to go anywhere. The Gambling Hub's Novel Coronavirus Response and Coordination Center said the changes were made as the epidemic situation in the city remained stable over the past 2 months, but stressed that the indoor mask wearing requirements could be reviewed as per the situation. Hong Kong made masks compulsory in July 2020, and the order will remain in place till March 8th, despite calls to drop it. The Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority has recorded a positive return of 6.1% last month. Writing on her blog, Chairwoman Aisha McPherson Lau said investment sentiment in the global market has obviously improved, and the total assets of the Mandatory Provident Fund, or MPF, have risen to exceed $1.12 trillion. Each member under the plan has an average saving of $239,000. Under the Employee Choice Arrangement, which was established in 2012, an average of 84,000 fund members changed preferences every year, Lau added. This allows employees to transfer their portion of accrued benefits to an MPF trustee or scheme of their choice. The total transferal amount reached $42 billion as of last month. Financial cooperation between the city and the mainland will get a further boost with the Shanghai-Shenzhen-Hong Kong Modern Service Industry Cooperation Zone. Treasury Chief Christopher Hui said very soon tech firms can list on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange even before they make a profit. Chloe Fung reports.
Under the comprehensive deepening reform policy, the mainland authorities, including the country's central bank and the Guangdong government, issued a joint statement on providing financial support to the Shanghai-Shenzhen Hong Kong Modern Service Industry Cooperation Zone. The proposal includes 30 measures to regulate cooperation between the two sides, allowing qualified financial institutions from Hong Kong to set up subsidiaries in neighboring Shanghai Economic Zone in Shenzhen. Speaking on a radio program today, Treasury Chief Christopher Hui said measures taken by the mainland authorities and the SAR government will help international equity funds access the mainland market more easily. About 600 such funds have been registered in the SCR over the past couple of years, Hui said. An application process for Hong Kong funds willing to expand on the mainland will be simplified, he added. To attract more investment in the city, Hui said there will be a further relaxation of listing requirements. We will have new arrangements over the listing regime next month, Hui said, which will allow innovation and technology firms to list in Hong Kong even before they generate revenue or reach profitability. Hoping the measure will attract firms from the clean energy and digitization sectors. Commenting on his weekly blog, Financial Secretary Paul Chen said the city is capable of becoming a world leader in green tech and finance. Citing his recent visits to several startups at the Science Park and Cyberport, Chen said the city has fostered high-quality, innovative and passionate companies within the sector. He pledged more financial and management support by luring more investors and talent. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
The Immigration Department will require applicants entering the city on other talent admission schemes to declare any criminal records starting tomorrow. This comes after a mainland scientist who had served a prison sentence had his visa revoked under the Top Talent Pass scheme last week. Other schemes subject to the change include the General Employment Policy, Admission Scheme for Mainland Talents and Professionals, and Technology Talent Admission Scheme. The department assured that it has been assessing all application for visa or entry permits in a rigorous manner and pledged to review the application procedures from time to time. A man has died after a sampan and a speedboat collided in Sai Kung this morning. Marine police rushed to the scene around 10 a.m. and rescued 2 men from the water, about 20 meters away from shore at Sam Chok Wan. Both had fallen off the sampan after the collision and were in a coma. One of them was certified dead, while the other was airlifted to Pamela Yud Nethersall Eastern Hospital by helicopter. 3 men on the speedboat who were enjoying water sports were arrested on suspicion of endangering the safety of others at sea. Many railway fans have waved goodbye to the Phase 2 light rail vehicle this morning. After 30 years in service, the last train departed from Yuen Long Station to Siu Hong Station this morning. During the journey, the driver explained the history and features of the iconic transport facility through the train's PA system. This railway enthusiast brought along a self-designed keychain depicting the train and waited at Siu Hong Station to catch one last glimpse. This fan came from Macau to specially bid farewell. A total of 30 trains, which were built in Japan, have been in service since October 1992. They were gradually replaced by new trains from the end of 2020. Hamsters are back at local pet shops after commercial imports resumed last month. The import and sale of the pet was halted since January last year after a pet shop worker and nearly a dozen hamsters tested positive for the Delta variant. Nearly 2,000 hamsters were culled, which sparked an outcry from animal activists and residents. The owner of Little Boss, the store where the infection was detected, said newly imported hamsters need to undergo 5 days of quarantine for sample inspection. Even if they test positive, they are not culled and can be sold after they test negative. Business is not good, but he hopes to mend ties between people and hamsters, which were soured by COVID. Overseas, a meeting of G20 finance ministers in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru ended without consensus after Russia and China declined to sign a joint statement.
Russia and China, two countries had a reservation. They didn't agree to those two paragraphs because the leaders had prepared that in the Bali summit, and it was fine for a circumstance, for the circumstances which prevailed then. And therefore, now they didn't want it.
The meeting coincided with the first anniversary of the start of the Ukraine conflict. China and Russia had signed the statement at the G20 summit in Indonesia last year, but declined this time as the dynamics of the war in Ukraine have changed. Russia's foreign ministry accused the United States and European Union of using the summit as blackmail. A medical transport flight crashed in the U.S. state of Nevada amid bad weather, killing all 5 people on board, including a patient.
We received multiple reports from different callers in the area of Iron Mountain and Seneca in Stagecoach, Nevada, that there was possibly a aircraft that had went down in the area. Crews with Central Lyon and Lyon County Sheriff's Office and Lyon County Search and Rescue located a single prop bi-wing aircraft that had went down in the area. At this time, right now, it's pretty contained within an area, not away from any houses or residents in the area, so there is no further threat to the public or anything like that. It's a single incident that is being contained right now.
The 5 people on board were the pilot, a flight nurse, the flight paramedic, and the patient and his family member. On to the weather now. It'll be fine and dry in the next couple of days and rather cool in the morning. Temperatures will range between 14 and 20 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Azam Khan. Thanks for watching. Good night.